Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Kat. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, and today we are talking about the second part to my Beachbody two-part series, I guess. So in the first one, if you haven't watched it, I highly encourage you to watch it because I go more in depth with why I'm even talking about Beachbody in the first place and some of the major kind of problematic areas that I see coming from my experience and kind of what I do on a daily basis for work. And I also want to give a trigger warning, just as I did for the last video, but a trigger and content warning for this one. We are continuing the talk about some disordered eating habits. We're gonna be talking about some things and showing videos from some coaches that I find to be really problematic and potentially, in my opinion, kind of harmful. Everything in this video is 100% my opinion, unless I share the opinion of somebody else. I will be sharing some stories of amazing YouTubers who have experience in Beachbody, and I'm so excited. A couple of videos and then also some text to read out. So going back to that content and trigger warning, if you are struggling with disordered eating, you kind of want to know what the next best kind of option might be, I highly encourage you to check out the link that I have below. For the Centers for Discovery, they actually provide a free screening that can be really helpful to know kind of what the next possibilities might be for treatment or support in that nature. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. You ready to get started? Let's go. So I wanted to go into the 21-day fix, to what it is and also my experience with it. I did one day and it was not fun, but let's just go ahead and watch a coach kind of describe what it is.
So I get asked all the time about these little portion control containers. You can get these off of Amazon or Beachbody. I think Walmart even has them. Based upon your weight and how active you are, which correlates with a calorie count, which correlates with the container. Your plan might say that you need 4 red containers in a day, and then you get to pick your reds, whether it be egg, steak, your nutrition shake, whatever you want that is just simply measured in the red container. And you're not eliminating any food groups, you're just measuring all of them. Not counting calories, it's counting food groups and how much of each one that you should actually have. A banana and a cookie might have the same amount of calories, but it's the fact of nutrition that you need 3 containers of vegetables and help.
So I just want to share that part again really quick.
A banana and a cookie might have the same amount of calories, but it's the fact of nutrition that you need 3 containers of vegetables.
So a banana and a cookie can have the same amount of calories, which is absolutely true, but it's the fact of nutrition that you need 3 vegetable containers. I just thought that was really funny. I think this girl is super bubbly. I think her personality is really fun. And I feel like outside of being part of Beachbody, if she were to want to pursue coaching, health coaching, nutrition coaching, anything like that, I think she could be really awesome at that. And so again, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I never want to bash the actual coaches who are the sellers, right? So because it is not their product, it's not their programs, they have zero say over what's going on in the programs, they have zero say over what's in the products, the sourcing of the products, the overall ingredients in the products, the name of it, the vibe of everything. That part is not their business. Their business is solely about that selling piece and showing that lifestyle and getting other people to do that same thing as well. As I mentioned in the previous video too, so much of what my concerns are is because of how Beachbody is getting their coaches and what kind of messaging they're sending out and how they have their coaches do things that are, in my opinion, potentially harmful. So that was a little bit about the 21-day fix, the ultimate portion control kind of thing. So as she is right, you can buy these on Amazon. I got these on Amazon. These are not from Beachbody. So There's lots of different sizes. There's also this little one over here. And as I said, I did a full day with the program. So as that girl mentioned, based on your weight, you multiply it by 11, and then you add 400 calories as a fixed calorie burn, and then you have a deficit. You subtract 750. This is from their official guide that I just took screenshots out of. So if it ends up coming out to below 1200, they do encourage you to increase that up, to round up, which I appreciate. I think that is a good thing. But when I did my, just following this doesn't take into account your training, your activity level. And I did find another resource from Beachbody where you can add on the activity factor. But when I did that, it was still lower than what I would normally consume. With just following this picture, I was in the 1200 to 1499 calorie range. And then if I added my normal kind of physical activity, then I was in the one higher. I didn't want to do any physical activity on the day that I tried because I wanted to not feel as hungry. And I knew that if I was going to do my normal activity that I would feel very hungry. And so I ended up going for what the first calorie level was. Now, I did not make it. I had to go to that next bracket, and even at that next bracket, without physical activity, I was super hungry. So I'll put up some pictures of what I did. I started off the day with chorizo and watermelon, which yes, there's gonna be some fat in the chorizo, but it's what I had on hand and what I wanted to eat. I also had a super tiny corn tortilla for my chorizo. I had one of my favorite snacks actually is having cottage cheese with frozen berries. I think it just tastes so amazing, especially as you're eating it and as the berries start to thaw out, it tastes amazing. So I really appreciated that snack. And then I had my lunch. I had some beef tips and then also some roasted sweet potatoes, coleslaw mix with some vinaigrette dressing for that, and then some avocados. That was really tasty. And then I had to wait until dinner. And I could move some things around, right? Like you can move your portions around, but I made it balanced to where I could spread it out as much as I could and still promoting that more satisfying feeling. However, there's only so much that you can do with so little amount of food. And so I did have this for dinner. I had an early dinner and I had some naan with some sauteed kale and lemon juice and some chicken and some cheese. That is a really odd combo, but it tastes amazing. So there's that. After this, I was still super hungry, and so I ended up having some more of my normal kind of snacks in the evening. Let's just watch my video. I recorded myself before I had dinner. I just got done with my last appointment of the day. My normal amount, usually 6-7 appointments, and I am my brain, I can't. The energy that I have consumed throughout the day is just so low, and my brain is feeling it. This is not how I want to feel. This is not how I recommend feeling or recommend doing the nutrition to feel this way. No. And even my thoughts, and as I'm talking, I feel like I'm putting a lot of energy into it because I'm so tired. I need to eat more food after I have this last meal. I'll put a picture, but I'm going to eat more because this is such a calorie deficit and I didn't work out today because I knew that it was such a low calorie intake that it was gonna be better if I didn't work out because I wanted to give it a fair shot. I don't recommend this. Wow. How dramatic can you be, Kat? It wasn't really that bad. So I remember being very hungry, and it was after several back-to-back appointments, and there is a lot of work that goes into appointments and holding that space and working on that healthy relationship with food piece, right? It's so much more than just saying eat this, don't eat that kind of thing. And so I can understand why my brain was just running on low, emotion-wise, everything. I was just done. I feel like this was a little bit excessive on the dramatic side, but that was how I was feeling on that day. And you saw it. So the video that we watched, the same girl, she showed her breakfast, and let's just see what she eats for breakfast.
People often wonder why my peanut butter is so runny, but it's just because it's all natural and it's made with 100% peanuts. So I'm having this with some Power Waffles that I got that's Kodiak brand, and then I'm gonna have this every morning for breakfast this week.
So first off, yeah, absolutely about the peanut butter. That's how my peanut butter looks. But that is her whole breakfast. And this girl, she is so like bubbly. She looks like she is moving around all day in her other videos, and she just, that is such a small breakfast that I would not have somebody do that small of a breakfast. She's having one little waffle, one of those like frozen Kodiak waffles it looks like, and then having a little bit of peanut butter on it, and then like a tiny little bit of honey. Like, you saw it. That's her whole breakfast. I'm like, that's a very small breakfast, and you don't need a giant huge breakfast, but I'm just saying that she could probably benefit from increasing that breakfast overall. And again, I'm not her dietitian, and she didn't ask for my opinion. She doesn't care about my opinion, I'm sure. But I'm just saying, overall, like, it is a low amount of food. That's all I'm saying. So I also found this other person's breakfast. Now, this is their breakfast.
This is a super awesome 21-day fixed breakfast that has no yellow container, so it's 1 green and half a red, and it's just a cup of the pumpkin puree, and then you put it in a bowl with an egg, a little bit of pumpkin pie spice, and a splash of maple syrup. Mix it up really, really well, and then put it in a prepared ramekin. I just sprayed it, and then you're gonna pop it in the microwave for 5 minutes or until set. Mine takes a little more than 5 minutes to get it how I like it, but then that's it. You take it out, it'll be super hot, so be careful, but then you've got yourself a really great 21-day fixed breakfast full of protein and veggies with no carbs.
So first off, it does have carbs. A pumpkin has carbohydrates. A pumpkin is carbohydrate. It's mostly a carbohydrate. And so I don't know why it was in a green container rather than a yellow container, but overall, I'm glad it was in a green container because she's gonna get more carbs than if it were in a smaller yellow container. So yes, it still has carbs, but the more, that's fine. It's still pretty low in carbs overall when you compare it to other carb dense foods. But like, just to have even if there weren't carbs in there, right? So to have, or a very, very, even less carbs if you're getting non-starchy vegetables, to have just 1 green and half of a red container, that is even smaller of a breakfast. That is just so small. And again, I don't have anybody that I'm working with right now who's eating that little for breakfast. Like, so there's that. And then I also wanted to share another video, and this is kind of going back to that first video where I talk about just how Beachbody doesn't really teach the actual skills to be able to have actions that support that whole health piece, that physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being. It's more so of just like telling you what to eat without that teaching aspect. And I say that because let's just watch this video.
Using these portion cups may seem hard at first, but once you really think about it, it's super easy. I know how much of each container I need to eat every single day. I pre-make all of my food, and then at night when I'm feeling lazy, all I have to do is throw it into a pan and I can make a stir fry that gives me my carbs, my veggies, and some protein, and a side of fruit.
If you are going off the containers, if that's how you know how much to eat every day, that is not teaching you how to use your hunger and fullness cues. It's not teaching you how to approach hunger even. And I'll talk about more with Bevy specifically because it's an appetite suppressant. But it's not, when you are working with a coach, you should be, that includes also figuring out how much to eat for that longer term focus, for knowing what is appropriate for your body right then, right there, based on your sleep, based on your activity, based on the rest of your day and how it's gonna look. Not by just following these portion control containers. That's not, I mean, do you wanna be using this forever? And that's how this person is knowing how much to eat. As in the previous video, I slid my way into a Beachbody Facebook group. The other one was focused on that specific program, the Ultimate Reset, but this one is from a different group, and most of the people in there are doing these portion control container kind of programs. So there are a couple of instances that I had some concerns over. So some of that includes, somebody asked, breastfeeding mamas, do you still take Energize before your workout, or have you been advised not to? My newborn is 6 weeks old, and I've been working out again since 4 weeks postpartum, taking Energize in the AM. I've noticed she is extremely fussy, and she has been having some serious gas issues, poor baby. And wondering if the two are related. I've cut dairy out of my diet already to see if that was the case. Just wondering if the caffeine could be doing something to my milk. Now, if you're taking supplements, right, and you're breastfeeding, you really need to be talking to your doctor, and if they refer you to a registered dietitian. Because somebody in this group, if they say, no, that's fine, like, who says, where is their credential? How are they able to do that? This is where it starts to get into what I mentioned in the previous video, those licensure concerns. Because once you start to do more personal kind of things that can impact the health of somebody in a negative way, like for her 6-week-old, that starts to get into that medical nutrition therapy piece that is protected under licensure, and especially depending on the state, right? So the licensure looks different in different states, which is why every time that I'm practicing medical nutrition therapy in other states, I get licensure in that state to do it legally so that I can help people with that one-on-one nutrition kind of coaching. And so it just made me mad that somebody is asking, the person asking this question about her 6-week-old in a Facebook group. Who knows what the credentials are for the people who are going to respond to this, and two, for the people responding to this, not saying to go talk to your doctor. Somebody said that they have come to the conclusion their body just can't lose weight. They've been consistently doing the programs for years and really dialed everything in around March. Fast forward to now, she's on week 3 of Muscle Burns Fat, which she loves, and actually stepped on the scale today at the doctor's and was 10 pounds away from my normal weight and up 20 pounds from this person's happy weight. Somebody said, I don't have any advice, but they are in the same boat, was up 10 and now 20 from what they like. Now, there's several reasons why this could potentially be happening. One, they could be building muscle if they're focused on a muscle building program. I don't know what that program looks like. I don't know. I'm not gonna look that up. But you could also, they've been doing this for a long time. And so if they have been consistently on a calorie deficit, they may have reduced their metabolism and they have to make further intense changes in order to see that. This is why that yo-yo dieting cycle is so dangerous. It really does have an impact on your metabolism and how things are going to go in the future and what you're going to need to do to continue to see that and to stay in that place. This is why I don't practice with a weight-focused approach. I focus on the actions, because if you are doing actions that support your physical health, and don't harm your mental, emotional, or social well-being, then your body will be at a weight that is healthy for you, whatever that looks like. And the reason why somebody might want to focus on their weight might be for health. And so if we are doing healthy actions, and we're going to get to that healthy place. Now, this is different from more aesthetically driven goals and everything. And again, I'm not going to be policing anybody's body. They can lose weight in any way that they want, but I'm just saying, Beachbody, I think it considers itself as like a health company. And, you know, I see a lot of these coaches talking about health, but we have to remember that if you are like just focusing on that weight piece and that weight piece and the actions that you're doing to support that weight piece is harming other aspects of your health, then it's not truly healthy. Somebody else said that they gained weight. They're on day 4 of 21 Day Fix and gained weight feeling defeated. Someone said the same thing happened to me, it's frustrating. Someone else said normal. Again, weight doesn't indicate your health. I can't see your weight and tell you how healthy you are, but if there's so much in this group, focus on that number, focus on that weight. And you know how I feel about that by now, I think, if you've watched any of my other videos. So somebody else talked about, and this goes into more of that healthy or non-healthy relationship with food. So they said, today was not a good day. Couldn't do any of my Beachbody workout because we were dealing with a 20-hour power outage from a nasty storm last night, which is terrible. Having pizza tonight because it was easy. I feel awful, but today is just not my day. But tomorrow is a new day, and a little heart. And then somebody said, glad I'm not alone. I had 2 slices and feel like they took 4 steps back. Now, having pizza should not make you feel awful, other than maybe physically if you have some kind of allergy or sensitivity to the ingredients in there. But on that emotional side of it, it should not make you feel awful or guilty. You should not have any shame around that, because that is not that amount, that one meal, right? That's not going to impact your health, again, unless you have this kind of food allergy or food sensitivity towards that. To have your emotion turn to something very negative, at that point, that action is unhealthy, right? Again, thinking about that definition of health, which if you Google it, this is what you'll find. A lot of these coaches, they are practicing and saying that they're promoting healthy practices, but you look at the actions that they're promoting and it's not true health. This is what gets me so frustrated. And again, going back to the company, who's empowering these coaches to make these things happen, to do these things, to, in my opinion, do harmful things? It's the company. And you hear the word empowering and think it's positive, but it's not always a positive thing. Maybe it is, I don't know, but yeah, just, you know, the company is empowering people to do actions that I feel like aren't wholly promoting that piece of health, in my opinion, allegedly. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit more. We're gonna move into Shakeology. We're still kind of talking about the overall 21 Day Fix side of Beachbody, but I wanted to share this video with you. This is from a coach, her highlights page on Instagram. I saw this, and so let's just watch it.
So I've had a ton of questions about the nutrition bootcamp that I recently shared with you for existing and people who maybe aren't my clients yet. So I wanted to show you the box that comes in the mail and everything that you get when you sign up with this. So first and foremost, a free box of pumpkin spice Shakeology. This ends on Saturday.
So again, this is from the highlights. It's no longer a thing, so no more free boxes of pumpkin spice Shakeology.
But if you were to purchase before Saturday, you would get this free box of pumpkin spice Shakeology. It's 14 packets. It's like a $75 value. So by Saturday, that ends. And then, let me see, I'm gonna pull out all of this stuff. These are just a bunch of like promotional materials. It comes with like our guide to the nutrition program with tons of recipes in here. This is almost like a mini cookbook. And then, of course, Shakeology. I always get vegan vanilla. This is by far my favorite. I talk a ton about my superfoods, but like I rarely share with you what's in them. Like proprietary protein blend. This is vegan, so it's pea, flax, quinoa, rice. It has like 14 grams of protein 16 grams of protein per serving. A superfruit antioxidant blend, super green phytonutrient blend. We have the adaptogen blend, which has like all of the mushrooms, ashwagandha, and then the pre and probiotic digestive enzymes. So it literally just has so much goodness all in like one serving. So some people say like it's like the equivalent of 6 salads. I think that's like not legit, because salads are very, it totally depends what salad you're eating, right?
I will give her props for that, because I cannot believe that there are people saying that that provides several servings of salad, several salads, and I'm glad that she is saying that, you know, they're different. Eating multiple salads is not the same thing as having one scoop of Shakeology.
But like, there is just so much goodness in this that you can't find anywhere else, and the amount that it would cost you to take all of these supplements or find them in other foods, like $20+.
Which you don't need those supplements. You don't need to find those and have those daily.
Shakes have helped me so much when it comes to my celiac and with just like my gut health. I used to struggle with going to the bathroom regularly, and I do not have that problem anymore. I don't suffer from like bloating and stomach pains. I no longer get like headaches consistently. My energy is consistent throughout the day. Like, this straight up has like saved me and so many of my clients. So highly recommend this. And then
now, I don't know what constitutes as a product claim, but I'm pretty sure that's what this is. She specifically talks about things that are diagnosable, right? So celiac disease, and then she also talks about her symptoms surrounding that and how this helped her, how she no longer has that. And she is insinuating that it's because of these shakes. Let's just listen to that again.
Shakes have helped me so much when it comes to my celiac and with just like my gut health. I used to struggle with going to the bathroom regularly, and I do not have that problem anymore. I don't suffer from like bloating and stomach pain.
So she literally talks about, so celiac, gut health, digestion, and bloating, stomach aches, energy levels, cravings. That is a lot of claims on your shake. And I'm gonna go specifically more on Shakeology, talk about it, because there are some ingredients in there that for some people with digestive health concerns is not helpful. So let's just continue on.
My energy is consistent throughout the day. Like, this straight up has like saved me and so many of my clients. So highly recommend this. And then this is all of the Ultimate Portion Fix materials, which is the specific program, the nutrition program that we're gonna be following. So it comes with the containers. I've been showing you guys the containers. It also comes with a daily logbook, this big cookbook, and then a workbook as well. So I'll open these up and show you guys.
So this next part got me so heated. I tried recording this earlier and I just kept getting interrupted, and so I'm re-recording this. And in that first time that I was recording this earlier today, I hadn't listened to this other than that very first time that I found this, and so I had kind of forgotten of some of the claims that she was making. Now, I got so heated in the previous recording of this because, oh man, just watch.
The one thing I am like the most excited about that I think is going to be absolutely like transformational in your ability to stay on track with a sustainable nutrition program and to ditch like the fad diets and like this emotional eating, the binge eating, the food addiction cycle, is these videos. So check this out.
Let's watch that again.
Going to be absolutely like transformational in your ability to stay on track with a sustainable nutrition program and to ditch like the fad diets and like this emotional eating, the binge eating, the food addiction cycle.
Binge eating disorder is a legitimate disorder in the DSM-5. It is an actual thing. And to say that this is going to transform you and like get you through that, no. As I mentioned in the previous video, I don't work with people who are currently in the thicks of an eating disorder. If I feel like I'm not comfortable with that specific case, then I will refer them to a dietitian who specializes in eating disorders. So it is just so irresponsible to say that, because you don't know who's watching your videos. You don't know who even you're sliding into the DMs of people. You don't know their relationship with food, and a lot of people don't realize how prevalent eating disorders are. I talked about this in the previous video, specifically on I went more into depth on disordered eating and eating disorders and my concerns around the programs with that. And so if you haven't watched that, check that out. But let's just continue on with this, because I'm just gonna fast forward through this because she just goes through those more and talking about how it's good information and how she's geeking out about it. But it's a 7-minute long video, so I don't want to put you through all of that. But you are not going to be able to get through all of those things that she was mentioning by just watching videos. If that was the case, then there wouldn't be hundreds, thousands of people working in that field, helping people on that recovery side, on that support side.
I am just like so excited about it. Obviously you can tell like how important nutrition is to my heart, and so often I hear from my clients and all of you here on Instagram that nutrition is your biggest struggle. So I listened to you, and I am bringing this to you to help you.
And I wanted to say, again, I'm not trying to bash the coaches themselves. If the person who made this video, if you're watching, I respect you and that you want to help other people to feel good and that you want to just encourage people in their health. But this is not the way. Just like the person before, I think this person outside of Beachbody, if they got, you know, training and everything, I think they could be really awesome and helping people with their health. But let's continue.
I for so long struggled with eating disorders and food addiction and binge and emotional eating, and this right here is what has helped me combat that. And this is even a deeper dive with more resources.
I am speechless. It's not even funny. Let's listen to that again.
I for so long struggled with eating disorders and food addiction and binge and emotional eating, and this right here is what has helped me combat that. And this is even
this is what she is recommending someone do, to do this program where they are counting out their portions using little containers, where they're under consuming, where they are having to choose from that list of foods, not having any more. Like, yes, on here there was a page where you could have some additional kind of fun foods, but the serving size was so laughable. It was ridiculous. And so to say that if you were trained in eating disorder treatment, whether it's coming from, there's a lot of people on the team when you're talking about eating disorder treatment. This is not something that anybody would recommend for eating disorder clients, for eating disorder patients. If this was my company and I had coaches who were saying this information and trying to get people to join who have, you know, celiac disease, who have digestive health concerns, bloating, gas, and then they even go further and say how it helps them get through their eating disorders and their binge eating disorder, I would not allow them to work for my company. They would not be a coach, because that, in my opinion, again, is very harmful and illegal. I would say that this counts as that claim, that product claim. And I'll leave it to the FTC to decide what they want to do with this, but this is not okay. And yes, this was reported by me.
Courses and trainings to give you the tools to finally overcome and to create that healthier relationship with food, with your body, with your mind, and just straight up change your life.
These trainings and resources will give you the tools to overcome. To overcome what? What she just mentioned, those eating disorders.
Will literally be the most transformative 30 days of your life as you take this journey with me, and I cannot wait.
I am so much more calm in this recording, in this reaction, than I was earlier today, because again, I recorded this, or I saved this a long time ago and I hadn't watched it. I hadn't gotten around to it. I forgot about some of the claims that she said. And even though this is the second time around watching this, recording this, I am still so livid. It is not okay to make these product claims for your physical health and then also your mental health, and to say that Beachbody was, you know, the end all, that eating this meal plan and then going through those videos, that's going to change your physical health and then also the mental health side. That is not okay. And this is why I cannot just talk about the products of Beachbody. This is why that business side is a problem, because you have these people who are trying to get people to recruit people to do the same thing, to be that coach too, because that's how you're gonna make the most money. That's what you're gonna need to do, and it is not okay. And then somebody who I'm friends with on Facebook, I don't even know who they are or when they became my friend. I just saw them, somebody posted something about Beachbody, and I was like, who are you, one? And two, like, I don't remember being friends with you, but now I'm going to watch your page and kind of see what you put out. So she talked about, yes, I know it says join me in August. I took this back in July, and and I just haven't gotten around to making this video, but she said join me in August for Rock Your Bod Challenge, for the Rock Your Bod Challenge. Daily support, weekly meal prep, I cannot read today. Daily support, weekly meal plans, all the best nutrition tips and tricks. Which, if she's doing weekly meal plans, again, that kind of goes into what state are you in? Like, what is the licensure? Are you legally able to do that? She also says you'll get workouts you can do anywhere, access to the private wellness community, and best supplements to support your health. She shares a picture of her coach, which, as I mentioned in the previous video too, you can't tell somebody's health by what their body looks like. Somebody who looks fit might not be really healthy, and somebody who doesn't look as fit, they might be very healthy, like with their lab values and their actions and everything. So you can't tell somebody's health by the way they're looking, but by taking that whole piece out of it, that is so important within context, just by society standards, I think that that before picture is something that a lot of people would aim for. Again, I can't tell her health by that picture, but if somebody is truly, you know, at a healthy place for them and they happen to look like this woman's before picture and they see that and they're like, well, crap, now I have to change my body because apparently it's not good enough. Like, I'm a before picture. How is that helpful? I'm not going to police somebody's body. They can lose weight if they want and focus on that piece. But again, I'm just saying this is my video. This is what I'm talking about. So what I really had a problem is the next one. She mentioned about how, raise your hand if you've ever struggled with knowing which foods to eat and how much, how to meal prep, emotional eating, binge eating, and then finding recipes that are healthy and taste good. Again, back to that binge eating. That is a legitimate mental disorder. That is something that is outside of this person's scope. And how is this a thing? How is this, I was gonna say, how is this legal? But it's not legal. It's just all about reporting and making sure that the people who can do something about it will do something about it, which unfortunately gets just kind of swept away. And I understand there are a lot of things going on in this world that need more immediate, you know, energy looking towards, but there are people whose job is to do this kind of stuff. And I think collectively we can all kind of just be aware whenever we're seeing something like this to go ahead and report it, because it's a little bit sketchy and concerning in my opinion. So now moving on to Shakeology. So there is that vegan option and then also the whey, and they're really the same thing other than just a little bit of the protein difference. So the vegan protein is pea, flax, quinoa, and rice versus the whey that is pea, flax, quinoa, and whey instead of that rice. So very similar. Other than that, they have the same proprietary blends of the superfood / antioxidant blend. There's the super green / phytonutrient blend, and then the adaptogen blend. I am not an expert in adaptogens. I'm not going to try to pretend like I am, because I'm not. But what I can talk about, and I mean, I could talk about the other one, the superfruit and the antioxidants, which there's, what is a superfruit or a superfood? That is a marketing term. There's no such thing as a superfood. It is a marketing term. And I can talk a little bit about the green and the phytonutrient blend, but what I want to spend more time on is the probiotic and digestive enzyme blend. So this is where I see a lot of people in Beachbody, a lot of the coaches talk about how it is so good for digestive health. Now, for some people, it's going to be very helpful. For other people, it's not. So if you don't know, one of my areas of practice, of focus, is that digestive health or gut health. So there are two kind of roots, yuccan root and then chicory root. Now, those are prebiotics. So you think about probiotics as the actual microorganisms, the actual good bacteria, those things that live inside of our digestive system and help us to have that good health, that digestive health. Now, those are alive though, and they need to eat. And so they eat things that are mostly fiber. So those are examples of those roots. And so, you know, that's great for some people. That can really help to support overall healthy gut microflora. But the concern, so a little bit about the yuccan root. So that is a tuber vegetable in South America. It's similar to a potato and is specifically known for its prebiotic kind of content. However, that specific content is a fructooligosaccharides, or FOS for short. Now that is part of one of the types of carbohydrates within the FODMAP framework, the FODMAP diet, which is an elimination diet that sometimes we do for digestive health patients, depending on what's going on, depending on lots of different things. There is not going to be this one product or this one thing that I'm ever going to say works for all digestive health patients, because that is not realistic. There are a lot of different ways that we can go for digestive health and a lot of different reasons why there might be some concerns. Again, this is in conjunction with working with that medical, that MD, that doctor, you know, figure out that piece, but then they will refer them, most times they'll refer them out to a registered dietitian for them to then do the work on the nutrition side based on what they know is going on. So this is one of those things where if somebody is dealing with digestive, lots of cramping, lots of gas, lots of bloating, one of the reasons why could be because they are not able to, at this time at least, digest certain kind of carbohydrate chains, which is included in the FODMAP diet. Those fermentable oligomonosaccharides and polyols, right? So this falls into one of those categories. I don't want to get too into everything unless you want me to make a video on that in particular, but I have had multiple clients come to me with having really intense digestive challenges, discomfort, symptoms, and they're taking Shakeology, and that is the first thing that I will be like, no, let's take this out, let's take a little bit of a break, let's not have this. And in my experience with the people who I have worked with, they have seen benefits just by taking that out. And the reason, and this is one of the things, there's a lot of things going on in my head whenever I'm going through their normal intake and kind of seeing what things are potentially causing those symptoms, and one of the things that are more popular and what I've seen to mostly cause those symptoms, and just kind of, there's a lot of things going on in my head. But if I have some concerns specifically over FODMAPs, and if they do take this out and they start to feel much better, then that is a really big sign that they are having some digestive difficulties or difficulties dealing with FOS, or those fructooligosaccharides. And so for some people, right, like for myself, I can digest fructooligosaccharides just fine, and so I would probably not have any kind of discomfort from having Shakeology. That's not to say that I want to purchase it or try it or anything of that nature, but there are a lot of people who I work with who this will not work out with them so well. There's also some enzymes in here. So like there's amylase, which I thought was really interesting because we have amylase in our digestive tract. We even have it, you know, you can kind of say the mouth is part of the digestive tract, but we have salivary amylase, which your carbohydrates start to break down. They start to the digestion process in your mouth with salivary amylase. So yeah, and then they have some other enzymes in there, which the majority of people, again, I see a lot of people with digestive health concerns, and most of the time enzymes are not the reason. Yes, there have been some, but it's just most people who are taking Shakeology, they're not going to need those additional enzymes. It's just not necessary. And then they have some probiotics in there. I'm looking at the label. I don't see where it says any like how many CFUs or colony forming units that you'll see whenever, or that you should see when things say that they have probiotics in them. I have no idea, but overall, it's not necessary. It's not something that I particularly think would taste super good. And there are other options to get in lots of micronutrients, macronutrients in a shake form that aren't related to nutrition MLMs. So again, just going back to the licensure concerns, whenever somebody is saying that they are having digestive challenges and a coach is saying, do this or try this, like where is that line between general kind of coaching and doing something because they have a medical condition where it turns into that medical nutrition therapy side? So Beachbody has a new product called Bevy. Let's just read the description. It says, struggling to stick to your healthy eating plan when cravings hit? Drink a 15-calorie Bevy instead. The key ingredients work with your body to help calm cravings so you can eat less while supporting healthy weight loss. Comes with 40 individual servings. It helps you curb cravings with regular use, helps you eat less, helps support healthy weight loss, no gluten, dairy, or soy, and less than 8 milligrams caffeine. So, and I'll put up the supplement fact. Cravings can come for a whole variety of reasons. You could have cravings because you had poor sleep and your body knows that the quickest form of energy is in the form of easily digestible carbohydrates. And so you're going to crave those more easily digestible carbohydrates or energy sources. It might be because your blood sugar level is not balanced. Maybe your blood sugar level is going high and then going back low, and you're on this kind of, you know, up and down roller coaster of blood sugar levels that, yeah, you're gonna have a little bit different cravings. Maybe you're having more of a challenge figuring out what is emotional hunger versus that physical hunger piece. Maybe you had a higher intensity workout that previous day and your body is trying to recover and you need more energy physically. If you are doing these programs, you're following the small little portions, then you might have those cravings, like your body is just telling you to get more nutrients. And this is why I don't recommend taking appetite suppressants, because if you are choosing mostly those foods that are minimally processed, right? So all of those foods on that list for this kind of portion control plan, if you're choosing like those foods that they list, like those are great food options. And those food options are really gonna help your body. If you're pairing them together, you're getting a good amount of carbs, good amount of protein, good amount of fat, and you're getting those non-starchy vegetables too at your meals, and you're choosing those foods, mostly those minimally processed foods, that is going to get you to a place, a portion size that you need. That is why I don't recommend just following a plan and following their portions, because that doesn't teach you how to listen to your body and figure out what is the right portion size for you. Again, a lot of that depends on what kind of foods you're choosing. There are some foods that we're not gonna feel as full when we're eating them because they're maybe created to have us consuming more of those, right? But if you're choosing those, if you're doing that program and you're choosing the foods from that list, those general, you know, great nutrient dense foods, you shouldn't need to take or worry about trying to reduce your hunger, to take an appetite suppressant. When you are on a calorie deficit and you start to reduce the amount of hunger, you start to feel less hungry. That is a sign that your metabolism is actually lowering too, which is not a good thing. And in my opinion, I think that actual coaches, real coaches, should help their clients to work through the cravings, figuring out what is the reason, like what is at the root of the cravings? What is our body telling us? Rather than throwing them a supplement, rather than having that client pay additionally for that supplement. That is not teaching skills. That is not coaching to me. If you're going to your coach with cravings and they just tell you to drink this drink, and they're not helping you get to the root of why those cravings are happening or what potential, like the game plan might be, what you might kind of work together and kind of figure out and do differently, you need to get a new coach, because that focus is just on that short term. Like, do you want to be drinking these drinks forever? That doesn't help with that long-term skill building part that is very helpful or very needed when you're talking about that long-term approach to health and healthy practices. I'm always concerned over appetite suppressants, because again, if you're working with a coach that's helping you to build those skills that support your whole health, your physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being, then with that help, with those actions, your appetite is going to be where it needs to be. You're not going to need to rely on a supplement to help you to suppress that hunger. I'm not here for Bevy at all. I don't encourage it. I don't support it. It's something that I don't like. I'm going to now share some stories from other YouTubers. Now, when I say other YouTubers, I'm not in the same category as them, because they are like giant. To me, at least, they are just, man, they have done so many good things, so many good videos, just educating people about Beachbody and other companies and just about their experience and everything. And I am so grateful that they all agreed to share their story with me. So I specifically asked them about their history with Beachbody and if it impacted how they approach food, as far as like with their relationship with food, if it helped their relationship with food, if it harmed it, kind of just what their story is. But I'm going to share those with you. So I'm gonna have all of the YouTubers linked down below. Now the first one is a video. I have not watched this yet. I just watched the very, very beginning because I wanted to make sure that it worked. The first one is from Deanna Mims. I love this girl. She is so cute. She is so fun, super fun. So I haven't watched this, so let's go.
Hey guys, so personally for me, I definitely feel like Beachbody 100% has this constant pressure to be perfect. So I know when I was in Beachbody, I was a Beachbody coach. And when you're a Beachbody coach, they always tell you that your transformations need to be perfect. You need to be perfect on your meal plans. You always have to be doing your workouts. And there's just a constant pressure to be perfect on your nutrition plan and your workouts. And life isn't like that. And I feel like with me personally, now I've become a very intuitive eater, and I work out because I love to, not because I have to and need to. And that's what Beachbody promoted. Personally, when I was in it, I just felt like I always needed to get my workout in, and I would feel guilty and bad if I didn't stick to my meal plan, or if I didn't get a workout in, I would literally feel guilty. So I truly do not feel as if Beachbody's programs are sustainable at all. I see so many women get trapped into Beachbody and really promote an unhealthy relationship with food and with working out, and they don't even realize it themselves, that they are putting so much pressure on themselves. Another thing I do want to add is really how restrictive their programs are. So I did already say that the need to be perfect and how guilty they make you feel whenever you don't eat perfectly and you don't always get a workout in, that really just leads to an unhealthy relationship with your body, with working out, and also with food in general, with that need to be perfect. But with their actual nutrition plans, I find them to be extremely restrictive. They cut out carbs. You're only allowed to have like one fucking small pancake, or sometimes you're not even allowed to have a pancake, okay? Depending on the type of program you're doing. And I just don't think that promotes a healthy, sustainable relationship with food. Now, I personally do like their workout programs. I think a lot of their workout programs are really great, but I find the issue lies with the nutrition plans and how much they really underfeed you. So I'm not sure if the wonderful woman doing this video is going to be looking into their nutrition plans, but they're really, really bad. I've actually seen other nutritionists look into their containers, because that's what a lot of people in Beachbody will talk about, is their meal portion containers. And another nutritionist actually looked at this and stated that they're underfeeding people. And then they're telling you, oh, only have 3 carb portions a day. And a lot of men and women need more than that. So I just don't vibe with it. I don't like it. I just think it's unsustainable. It's very restrictive, and they really put a lot of guilt on you, especially when it comes to your nutrition. So that is kind of my experience. I could totally talk for like 25 minutes about how I feel with how Beachbody really changed my relationship with food and working out, but I am one of the lucky ones who really loves working out and stuff like that, and I'm a very intuitive eater, but that happened after Beachbody. And when I was in Beachbody, I wasn't like this. I was someone who was trying to always stay perfect with my nutrition, always trying to stay perfect with working out, could never take a day off, and I always felt guilty if I did. And now I'm at a point where I'm very lucky to love my body, to be an intuitive eater, eat when I'm hungry, and don't feel guilty if I have some Taco Bell every now and again. And if I don't get a workout in, who fucking cares? Just do it the next day. And also, hopefully you don't care about cursing. You know I do that. You can cut my F words out of this if you want to, but I really just feel like Beachbody doesn't promote that. And their coaches who are not certified will say all the time that it's all about a healthy, sustainable lifestyle. But if you really dive deep into their nutrition plan specifically, it tells you the opposite.
And because so many of Beachbody coaches are not actual certified personal trainers and they're not dietitians, they don't realize that they are selling diet culture, in my opinion. Again, this is all my opinion and my experience and how I feel, but it's sad that these coaches, and I keep putting quotes because they're not certified or anything, but these coaches promote this type of lifestyle. They rave about it being a lifestyle, but in all actuality, they're just promoting diet culture, which I find extremely scary for all the people that are in the MLM or in Beachbody or doing it, or for all of the people that are following those individual Beachbody coaches on social media.
So that is my experience with Beachbody's nutrition plans, and I really hope that this helped. My suggestion to anyone would be to not follow them at all. Just go to someone who's certified with personal training, go to a dietitian, go to someone who's a health coach or certified and knows what they're talking about, because Beachbody ain't it.
Oh my goodness, Deanna, I love you so much. So yeah, I think that was what we had talked about and more. And I wanted to make a note. She mentioned that other dietitians and people have talked about or done reviews over Beachbody, and yeah, absolutely, there are so many. I have personally not watched any. I think I read one several years ago talking about it, but when I was gathering information for this video, I did not, because I feel like if I seek out information that is already digested, then that's going to impact kind of my feelings towards it. And I wanted to look at the source, and I wanted to make my own kind of conclusions from that. So just as she mentioned, it is that guilt producing program, that part of the program that I find really harmful. It's not about those skills that impact that whole health, that physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being, because if you are doing things that they're just so focused on that physical piece, when in reality sometimes that physical piece might not actually be healthy. But even if they are doing things that support their physical piece, if it's harming any other portion of health, then it's not healthy. Hard facts, move on. Okay, so my next one is from Monica Simbaida. Her videos are just some of my favorites, and I think she is so hilarious. She is actually a small business owner. She has a CBD brick and mortar business, and like she carries her own product. She is a legitimate small business owner. So she said, I definitely had a lot of success with weight loss, but I was so hungry towards the end. The portion control containers made me too obsessive, and I suffered from an ED, so I think my obsession just spilled into Beachbody. I'm okay now, which I'm so grateful for. I still have body image issues, but at least I'm not abusing my body. I started eating healthy and working out again like 3 weeks ago. Now I eat when I'm hungry, not when I'm bored, LOL. And it's nothing strict like Beachbody. I also just did the first day of Chloe Ting challenge. I've been doing yoga and Tabata. and girl, I think I'm going to be sore tomorrow. So it's mostly that other part. So I love her story because she talks about, like, yes, if you follow this program, yeah, you will see change likely. There are some people in the group who, you know, didn't see that change or saw all their weight kind of trend up. But for most people, especially when they're starting out, they will see that significant change. However, what is the end result? How sustainable is that? Deanna just talked about that sustainability piece, and it's not there. And with Monica talking about how it impacted her already issues with food and body. Again, when you're inviting somebody to Beachbody, you don't know about their relationship with food. There's not, as far as I know, there's not a screening tool that screens out people with eating disorders or potential eating disorders. Like, you just sell the product and invite them to your group. So thank you, Monica, so much for sharing that. I think that's really important to show, like, yes, you can see that change, but at what expense, and what does that sustainability piece look like? But I'm so glad that you are starting to feel better and put that more intentional action in that health piece. That's awesome. Okay, so this next one, I haven't watched it. I just clicked it to make sure that it worked. So this is my first reaction. This is from the Recovering Hunbot. So Alonda Carter, I love her. I love her personality. And I think that she just brings a whole new perspective to the anti-MLM community on YouTube. And she's a Texan like myself. And so whenever I see other Texans on YouTube, I'm like, hey.
Okay, so you want to know about what Beachbody did to me in terms of my outlook on food. Sorry, I'm having my morning tea. I guess as I spill my own tea. Wow, that was so bad. Well, did it feel restrictive? Do I think about food differently? You know, when I started, I mean, I need to lose weight now. I've gained weight. I mean, the story of why I've gained weight now is just like a completely different story. But with Beachbody, I was looking for something to help me lose weight. Did I lose weight? Yeah, I did, because I do think the containers helped, but they got a lot to manage. So here we have, you get your veggies, your fruits, this is your proteins, and your healthy fats. No, I'm sorry, carbs. Carbs goes in here. Healthy fats, and seeds, and something else, you know, this color-coded system. Is this sustainable to do? Well, it's a pain in the butt, I'll tell you that, because you're following only the recipes within a particular program, one of the exercise programs, because they all come with, you know, meal plans. That's what they call them. But when you have Beachbody On Demand, there's also this show called Fixate. Fixate is with Autumn Calabrese' brother. Autumn Calabrese is the one who developed.
She's the one who is doing the 9-week control freak, I think. That name sounds familiar.
Developed this portion control thing, or portion fix, 21-day fix. She's done country heat, all kinds of things. Now, the interesting thing about Autumn, and I did do a video, I included information about this, is she didn't have a background in nutrition. It wasn't until, I want to say it was 2017, and then she got certified by Integrated Nutrition or something, some online something. Meanwhile, she had been writing up, you know, meal plans. At least that's what it looks like, because they're within her.
I didn't even look at who created the 21-day fix. That makes so much sense. Alonda, you are you're absolutely right. Yeah, I remember, I watched that video. I remember watching your video about that, and you went like deep dive to figure out what their certification is, what their education is. And in the previous video to this one, part 1, I did talk about Isabel Dykler's education and how I could not find it either. So it looks like that's a trend with this community, with this company.
Programs for people to follow. Now, I'm not saying that you can't learn a lot on your own, but you know, she's not a dietitian. She's not a nutritionist, nothing like that. But yet, she was involved, because I know when 21-day fix came on the market, it just like exploded, absolutely exploded. And that came on the market before I joined Beachbody. I had joined Beachbody in 2016. And so this really felt like an ordeal, because on Sundays you were encouraged to do what's called meal prep. And meal prep involves basically cooking all of your meals for the week and then putting them in different containers after you've already done all the portion control on everything. So all you have to do is just pull out a container and voila, there's your meal. Now, did I put everything in separate containers? No, but I did try to do this whole, meal prep thing so I could have everything done in advance. It took a lot. It took a whole lot, and it felt very regimented. It felt very much like controlling my life. And, when you start looking at multi-level marketing and comparing it to cults and, behavior control, definitely, behavior control is part of doing all of these things within Beachbody revolving around food. This also, drinking Shakeology, being a product of the product, in addition to the workout. I liked the cafe latte.
I just want to say, Alonda, thank you so much for talking about Shakeology and your experience with the shake, because I didn't even think about asking that. You're awesome.
But I needed to put it with almond milk if I really wanted it to taste okay, because it didn't. I mean, it's just, some powder stuff. You shake it up or you blend it with ice. I like to blend mine with ice. But what was I really putting in my body? Because it's not like you can find out, test on this, and, you can't copy and paste all the ingredients.
Yeah, it is not NSF certified or another kind of second or third party certified. So what I've talked about this in some other product videos or other company videos, but there are different companies that will test supplements and let you know, provide a certification that it doesn't have any added fillers, it doesn't have any contaminants, heavy metals, and that everything on the label is actually in the product. Beachbody doesn't have that, to my knowledge, that they don't have that on their label. I didn't see it on their label.
Find out where is it actually made, because I never really considered that. And I think that's something that when it comes to all of these MLMs and all of these supplements and shakes and everything that they sell you on, you should know where it's coming from and what you're putting in your body.
Yeah, I'll pull up a picture of the list, the information from their website, and it doesn't list any third-party testing.
But you're not told that. And you should know the people who create these things, what their background is, if they even have any authority to tell you about any of this stuff. So did it really change my relationship with food? No, it really didn't. It really didn't. I think over time, I really started to resent these things because it's a pain in the butt to do this. To me, it becomes very cultish, especially imagine if you are out in public and let's say, you have your salad dressing in this and you whip it out because it's in your purse. I mean, isn't that a little bit odd? But you come to believe that the containers is the end all be all, and that the containers, that's what you really need to focus on, for your food, because, it's all planned out for you and you will be successful with, at least just with this, of losing some weight by following the containers, doing the programs, and drinking your Shakeology, because this is, a meal replacement. That's what they sell it to you as, and they do this whole thing about what a Starbucks coffee costs versus doing this. I'm going to tell you right now, drinking one Shakeology never filled me up. I said that it did. It never took away my cravings for sweets or anything, but I said it did. You lie. You lie about what these things are doing for you. So did it change me? No, it made me a liar.
Alonda, thank you so much for that video. And there's so much good information. Man, the fact that it made you feel like it was a struggle to do meal preparation on the weekends and to just kind of, you're eating out, you know, whipping out the dressing container and everything, and it's not sustainable. Exactly what you said. And then with the Shakeology piece, with the actual shake itself, you know, who created it, and the fact that it didn't fill you up, and the fact that it didn't really help with your cravings either, and how those are the selling points though. This is what coaches will say in order to sell these products, right? And so kind of goes in line with everything that we were saying before. So the next one is from Josie. Now, this little firecracker, she is, if you have not watched any of her videos, man, you need to stop watching this and go watch her. She has been in the top of multiple multi-level marketing companies, and she was at the top of Beachbody too. Her deep dive videos, man, they're just top notch. Her channel is Not the Good Girl. She is not the good girl. And I love her videos so much, and her personality and everything. And I think that her stories are so powerful because she was at the top. Like that is, so many times you'll have people say like, oh, well, you're just, you know, being salty because you couldn't make it work. This chick, this woman, this powerhouse made it work, and she still left. So if you haven't watched her videos, check them out. Orthorexia, or orthorexia nervosa, is an eating disorder that involves an unhealthy obsession with healthy eating. Unlike other eating disorders, orthorexia mostly revolves around food quality, not quantity. Make sure you check out part 1 because I dive into different symptoms or different signs that are most often associated with potentially having orthorexia. So check that out. I thought that was really helpful for bringing it back to that place. So she then said, I was in Beachbody for 3.5 years and decided to stop dieting about a year before leaving Beachbody. The 2.5 years before that, I had been near perfect with the meal plans and coaching. I don't believe all diets are bad. Sometimes we need to lose weight for health reasons. But I feel that Beachbody takes dieting to an extreme with their coaches. Coaches are always focused on having amazing, oh, and I just wanted to stop that really quick. Like, yeah, sometimes that we can be at a healthier place. So I just kind of always bring it back to what are the actions that you're doing, right? If we are focused on having actions that support your physical health, your mental health, your social and emotional well-being, then you'll get to a weight that is appropriate for you, rather than like just focusing on that number on the scale, right? It's about doing those actions that support that health. So absolutely. But I feel that Beachbody takes dieting to an extreme with their coaches. Coaches are always focused on having amazing before and after pictures or pics because it helps get customers, which helps your income. I would see women post an after photo only 3 days after giving birth, and they would claim their stomach was so flat because Beachbody helped them throughout their pregnancy. That made me sad. Yeah, absolutely. Just the fact a woman would feel she needed to post a before and after a few days after giving birth is such a high amount of pressure. Absolutely. Although I wasn't diagnosed with orthorexia, I noticed once I stopped dieting, it was like my head was clear. I became more creative and felt free. I hadn't realized how compulsive my thoughts were about food. Every single meal I was going to have, what was in the food, how it was prepared, was it too fattening, etc. I even obsessed how to take pictures of my food to upload for content. One thing that made me stop dieting was after losing 50 pounds and 5 sizes and being at what I thought was my healthiest, my doctor told me my blood pressure was extremely high, my body was stressed about something, even though in my head I thought I was fine. Now being on the other side of Beachbody and the MLM industry, I understand why I was so stressed out. I might weigh more now, but I'm mentally and emotionally healthier being out of a commercial cult. That says a lot about where she was at that lowest weight and, you know, how was her health? As I mentioned before, you can't look at somebody and know their health. It's so much deeper than that. And so I think she brought up a lot of really good points on how there is this fixation on these before and after pictures. I even shared some in the previous video. There is this idea that you have to sell your product with before and after pictures. When I've had people trying to help me like with my business, my actual online business, they will say like include more before and after pictures and everything, and I can't get to that place because it says nothing about health. And that whole health piece that I mentioned a million times before, that is so important to me, and I feel like taking that, having that before and after picture, that says nothing about this. Before and after pictures and this, they are not one and the same. And so because this is what my focus is on, I can't do those before and after pictures. It's just, it goes against my values and how I want people to perceive my brand. I am so glad that you're talking about orthorexia because more people need to know that it exists. And two, that you are talking about how having this kind of mindset where it's just always thinking about what is the food, what is my next meal, what is going to be in it, is it too fattening, is this in my plan, all of this stuff, how it's not really promoting that more mental side of well-being. So man. Okay, and then the next one is from Amanda MC. Now she is a nurse, and I need to catch up on a lot of her videos. I've watched several, but there was a lot going on, and so I have this list of watch later. And Amanda, yeah, I will be binging your videos really soon. So she responded to your question. So to answer your question, did Beachbody change my relationship with food? I would have to say that during my time with Beachbody, both as a strict customer and then a coach, it absolutely changed my relationship with food. I started out as a customer doing Focus T25. This program was heavily focused on the exercises and Shakeology versus meal prep and planning. I wasn't a Shakeology customer during this. However, when I got my kit, it came with a nutrition booklet, which was extremely basic and impersonal, and depending on your score in a 3-question quiz, you were either assigned a 200 calorie daily limit or 600 calorie daily limit. This was for both men and women, regardless of starting weight and actual caloric needs. The meals were simple. I believe it bragged about 5 ingredients or less out of a list of 25 whole foods to choose from. Ironically, Shakeology was on that list. The meals were either protein focused or carbohydrate focused. The focus in Focus T25 was to consume more protein rich foods / meals over carb rich. Wow, I never even heard of that program. I feel like the more that I talk, that's why these videos are so long, because when we are talking about Beachbody, it's just gonna be a long video. This was my first experience where I felt that I needed to limit my carb intake to get results and lose weight. I had a hard time following a plan because many recipes were not my preferences or too restrictive. At this point, I hit up my brother for personal training, and he introduced me to macronutrient counting. I do identify this period of my life, while successful for weight loss, as a time where I developed some disordered eating in the sense of measuring out food constantly and being consumed with knowing what macros were and what items, being type A personality with my diet. I also was monitoring carbs a lot with this method, and that's what either went up or down, high carb, normal, low carb days, as well as fats. Absolutely. I got off macro counting for a while and gained weight during a bad RA flare, stress, etc. This is when I was introduced to Beachbody and 21 Day Fix and Shakeology. I was told to order Shakeology for the working coach aspect of Beachbody. I initially didn't think it was necessary, and I still didn't at the time of drinking it, for a healthy diet. Facts. However, due to my bad RA flare-up, I was willing to try it out to see if I could benefit from it. For me, drinking Shakeology as a meal replacement was not possible. I got too hungry. I instead used it as a snack before or after my workouts or during work. That's what Alonda said. It is not a meal replacement in the sense of making you feel like you ate a meal, right? My bigger issue with Beachbody was the 21 Day Fix plan. While it is helpful for putting into perspective portion sizes, I felt it was tremendously more restrictive than the macro counting I was used to. To start, it had this 3-day quick fix guide that was targeting those who wanted to drop a few pounds in a quick amount of time. It even had Autumn in a sparkling bikini, as if people would achieve that in 3 days. I guess it was Autumn Calabrese that Alonda was talking about, and the creator of that new 9-week Control Freak. The quick fix basically restricted the participant to eat only 2 yellow containers a day, yellow carbs, the healthy kind, and the remaining meals were pure protein and veggies with a dash of coconut oil to drink. She thinks it was to help with energy for such a calorie deficit, but also to help with elimination, if you know what I mean. Yes, absolutely. Suffice it to say, the daily calories were extremely low, but the exercises were to remain steadfast. Man, this quick fix was encouraged to do at the end of our 21-day challenge for a better, more transformative after photo. No carbs equals no bloats. Or whatever we needed to get back on track. Now I'm going back to the main program. No, she's not going back. I read that wrong. Now, going back to the main program, I felt that 21-day fix was more restrictive than macro counting because it really focused on what not to eat and drink versus having balance in one's life. I think the limit was 3 small glasses of wine a week was allowed along with a treat. Carbs had to be along the lines of brown rice, quinoa, oatmeal, or yams. Protein was always lean and low to no fat unless it was fish. And the fats had to be a certain exotic type or a nut butter, not just butter. There were no processed foods except Shakeology or artificial sweeteners allowed, nor creamer, etc. It was just restrictive. I believe I was in the 12 to 1300 calorie range. I weighed less with 21-day fix than I did when I started T25. And I remember bragging about eating that little food on my social media as being so much food when it's good, whole, nutritious food. In retrospect, if I had to limit myself to 1200 calories a day every day, I would cry. Girl, same. Man, this is where I was really taught and trained to think. This food is good, this food is bad. Especially as I ran and was in free and paid-in challenge groups. The clean eating pictographs and posts made it seem more real and serious that there was a right way to eat and live healthfully and a wrong way to eat and live. Drink Shakeology every day, exercise every day, post every day, multiple times a day, get that before and after picture. There was no break. And it did amplify this all or nothing tendency within me that I did not enjoy being. I'm out of breath. She has a lot of good stuff to say. Even with macro counting, while it also provided focus on portion sizes, etc., it still gave leeway to choose foods and beverages that I wanted or craved and that I could consume at any given time as long as it worked within my macros that day. On a serious note, even with macro counting, I had plenty of untracked days and it didn't make or break me or cause me to feel shame. Awesome! Again, I can see that there are issues with macro counting. For some people, I've worked with some people who like they don't have any complicated relationship with food concerns. Some people really just kind of like to know numbers and they work really well in that way, and they just kind of want to see what they can do, make their body do, what they can kind of push their body to do, just for like their own experimentation, and then they'll just go right back to eating and not have it be this kind of pendulum where it's that overconsumption piece that we talked about in the last video. Suffice it to say, placing food in small containers wasn't sustainable to me, nor were limiting my carbohydrates and fats to tiny portions and teaspoons and various other foods and drinks in my diet and lifestyle at that time. It wasn't customized, although 21-day fix had more calorie brackets than T25. Eventually, I went off plan, went off Shakeology, and went off Beachbody altogether. Woo! The next time I decided to lose weight for a specific goal, bodybuilding competition, I went back to my brother's individual programming with macros. However, something about what I learned with Beachbody stuck with me so much so that I still looked at food as good or bad, even though my focus should have been, how is this going to fuel my body today? Or what am I wanting to eat? And even with the added leeway macro counting had available. For example, I was dead set on eating dry ass chicken breast over chicken thighs with 21-day fix because chicken breast is lower in fat than thighs. But when I started dating my now fiance, he was always making chicken thighs because they kept moist and more flavorful. Which, yeah, absolutely. When I switched from chicken breast to chicken thighs, it was a new life for me. It's so much more flavorful and just tasty overall. It took a while to embrace the chicken thigh. Now I love them. I got you. I am right there with you. They taste so much better, don't they? And they're just so much more flavorful. They're just more, you said moist, so I'm gonna have to say that. But yeah, absolutely. Beachbody may appear as healthy, may be promoted as such, but in my personal opinion and experience, there is a lot wrong with how they do nutrition. This is so helpful. Man, there is so much information in there that is good. And as we see with all of these stories, all of these personal experiences, in your opinion, hearing these stories, would you try, would you encourage Beachbody's nutrition programs? That's all I'm gonna leave you with. That's what I'm asking you. And I wanted to say thank you again to Monica, Alonda, Deanna, Amanda, and also to Not the Good Girl, Josie, for your stories. I appreciate them so much. And man, all right, my voice is tired of talking. So overall, I would not put my recommendation on Beachbody as far as the nutrition side goes. And I would say if you want that more workout, there are a lot of great personal trainers and programs, online programming even, that has nothing to do with a multi-level marketing company. And as Not the Good Girl, Josie put it, as a commercial cult. So with that being said, that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell icon, and I will get into the next deep dive. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.